Okay, so it's the 26th of August 2016. I'm just getting prepared for a trip to France, a yearly trip, carp fishing. Going to a lake called Etang Meunier this year. I've had this trip booked for 4 years, believe it or not. It's a long time to wait. So special little water though. I've wanted to fish it for years. It's 6 acre, all inclusive, so you get the lake to yourself. There's a house on the lake, and the pictures I've seen of it just looks stunning, absolutely gorgeous. Clear water, surrounded by trees, just real special place. But people that would have seen it on the telly, it used to be a runs water back in the day where you could get a lot of 30s and a couple of 40s if you were lucky, but things have changed a lot since then. It's seen a lot of pressure and it's not really had any fish put back in. It's never been restocked, so from what I've heard there could be anywhere from 65 to 100 fish left in there. So not a lot of fish to go at, but a lot of big fish, a lot of fish over 40 and a fair few over 50. So I believe there's a couple of 60s at least in there. The fish are stunning. It's like I say, it's gin clear, so they're real dark, old fish, clever, wise. So it's going to be difficult, I know that for sure. The weather's been against me. For 3 weeks now there's been a heat wave in France. Temperatures soaring, averaging 34. Yeah, real tough fishing conditions, but hopefully we're getting a weather drop on the Monday, so a couple of days after I arrive. Sort of mid-20s we're looking at least for a few days anyway. A nice storm hopefully to clear the air. So fingers crossed that'll put the fish on the feed, but whatever happens I'm going to enjoy it. I've got a chance of beating my PB, so I've already, I've had a £50 coming. I really want a £50 mirror, that'd be the icing on the cake. But just a couple of nice fish would be, in these conditions I'd be happy with anything really. But like I say, yeah, 4 years I've been waiting for this trip. It's going to be a good one, whatever happens. So I'll try and keep and do as much footage as possible, because on my last video I had a crazy trip last year. I was catching that many fish, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating. If I wasn't cooking bait, I was baiting up. If I wasn't baiting up, I was preparing rigs, and I literally didn't even make any footage other than fish captures on that trip. So I'm going to try my best to get as much footage this time. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be catching that many fish anyway, so yeah, fingers crossed it'll be a good trip. And
this might be amusing.
if we have to stop. I said if we have to stop, we have to stop. This is what greeted us when we came down the track. Absolutely gorgeous, totally secluded woodland, honestly. So peaceful here. Obviously you can see the house, that's the swim on in. You're literally fishing off the patio area. absolutely stunning. I think it backs onto some sort of nature reserve, but it's gorgeous. Totally overgrown, totally natural. I've read the catch reports and it's been tough going. We've had obviously horrific heat out here for the last few weeks. The week before last he caught nothing. I think the week before that they had about 3 or 4. But the chap who was on here just before us, he did not too bad on his own. He had 6 fish. I think 4 or 5 of them were 40s. Seem to be coming to small beds of bait tight to the overhangs on the far margin. I've been here a short while. I've got a lot of my kit out. I've not cast out yet. I'm just going to get a shower and get fresh. I've just been shooting about. But I've already seen a few nice spots along this far margin, so I'm going to start off softly and probably just put the rods out tonight under a small amount of bait. But out in this central area when we got here there was 2 fish fizzing up like mad. I'm definitely going to put a big amount of bait out. I've read the catch reports and it seems like no one's dared to do it because of the weather. At the end of the day, these fish, they're all big fish. They're all up to 40, 50 pound. So if no one's been, no one's had the bottle to feed them for the last 3 weeks, I think nice big bed of bait out there. At the end of the day, if it don't produce, it's not going to affect me at all because I'll be picking them off on this tree line like everyone else has me. So definitely going to put a good 5-6 key out tonight. Out in the middle and just not put any rods on it, just watch it and see what happens. But yeah, just setting the scene for the week. Stunning place, definitely the prettiest lake I've been by a country mile. I mean, this is the dam end obviously. From what I've heard, I've not put a marker out, but you're looking at 16 foot, 14s in 12s, and obviously moving up to the shallows up the far end. But yeah, excited for what prospects lay ahead for sure. The accommodation's spot on as well. I mean, I'm not really going to be using it. I'm only here with one mate, but the accommodation is absolutely spot on. Clean showers, clean toilet, a couple of nice bedrooms too. I think there's 4 single beds if I'm right. Yeah, absolutely spot on. Barbecue in patio area. There's 3 fridges. Facilities are literally just bang on. You couldn't ask for more. I know the lake, it's deceiving. You're looking, I'm looking across the lake and it almost looks small, but it's not a small bit of water. I mean, it's obviously not a large lake, but it's not as small as it looks on this GoPro. I think it's a bit deceiving. I mean, I'm not sure on the yardage yet. I've got to do my wraps later, but I'd guess from the house across to the far margin, well, you've got to be looking at 100 yards plus, maybe 110. I'd expect it to definitely be over 20 wraps. So like I say, yeah, I'm in the house swim, and my friend, you can just see there, he's in that swim there. It's called In the Woods 1.
It's a plodder.
Definitely a plodder, mate. Look at that.
Oh.
Seems like a good fish. I think in the clear water as well, they don't half fight hard. He's trying to get through another line.
Clear, mate. You got quite an angle.
That line's bowstring tight, isn't it? I like that when I put it out. I don't think it's moving quite quick, so it's got some weight to it though. Oh, there it is, look, it's a common, I think. After waking up and losing that fish first thing, I was devastated. You don't get many chances on here, but 2 bites on the first morning. Make the most of it.
Oh,
it's definitely a common.
God.
I'll land it, mate. Maybe it's that pig from yesterday. doesn't it? This is a bit where you don't want to bully it, mate.
Yeah, let it do what it wants to do. Come up.
Be as soft as you can.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good fish.
Oof.
Get in that net.
He's in the bag.
Get in. That's what we got, mate. Get in. It's definitely a common. Oh yes.
Oh yes.
I think it'll make 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that?
It's a monster. Kill it.
Right.
Kill it. Kill it. Keep it that way.
Okay, so there it is. £34. Absolute stunner from Etang Meunier. Second fish of the first morning, but the first one snapped me off. And this one just came along out the blue. I was having a cup of tea. 34 common. Stunning colours. Absolutely made up with that. We'll get the rods back out, get them rebaited, and hopefully get another. Oh. There she is, £34. It's not got the waterproof case on, don't forget.
What a lump. Etang Meunier.
Quality. Get in.
Happy days.
Okay, so Sunday, it's about 9 o'clock I should think. Just had a nice weather system moving. I don't know if you can tell there, but it's really overcast. We just had a load of rain. We've got a lightning storm rolling in. So yeah, perfect conditions I guess, seeing as we've had, you know, 34 plus heat for the last 3 weeks. Couldn't have asked for anything more with the weather. So, a bit about last night then. So I managed to get all 3 rods out. I didn't do any mass baiting like I was planning. I just put 3 rods out on the far bank. I went out there in the boat and had a quick prod around in a field. So it's a long way away. I know you probably can't tell, but just there where that bush is, there's a snag tree right there. Goes into the water. It's dead. Just to the right of that, it's a gorgeous sandy area. Just to the right. Depth's down to about 8 foot. The further back you go, you're going into about 6 foot. So it's quite a deep area. It's real nice. I put a rod there, and that's actually not a rod that's gone. But I'm not sure. I didn't do the wraps on that, so I'm not sure if I'm fishing too short of it. Moving on. Moving on from there, you come round to another dead tree just here, and just to the right of that dead tree there is it's a lot shallower there. It's 4 foot around that whole area. There's a cove just there, and it's about 4 foot. So I'm fishing again tight to that dead tree there in 4 foot of water, and that's hard gravel there. That rod went at about, what time was it? That was 5:30 or 5:45. That rod went. Actually snapped me off, but it didn't snag in the tree. I think it was the Corda RQ I was using. It just parted. I'm not sure why. So that was that rod, and then just as I was getting my rods ready, what was the time then? It was about, I think I had the tail about 8 o'clock or 7:30. The take a spot just over there, a little tiny cove. About 5.5, 6 foot. Again, sandy gravel. That one went with a nice 34 common on it. So I'm getting takes on 2 of my rods at least, and they seem to be in the shallower water. I'm only guessing that, seeing as that one's not gone in, that's in 8 foot. But we'll see as the week progresses. We'll see what happens. I still need to get the wraps on that rod so that I feel like I'm fishing confidently. But I'm also just about to set my marker out up, marker float, sorry. And I'm going to bait, well, I'm going to have a feel around first with a lead, but in line with that conifer there, I'm going to have a lead around, and likewise with that conifer there. I'm guessing them skyline markers get used a lot, so there might be clear areas out there, but I've seen fish fizzing in that general area. Only 1 or 2 here and there, but it shows that they're feeding naturally. So probably 2/3 of the way across, just about out there. I'm going to put a better bait out, but I'm not going to put a rod in it. I'm just going to keep my eye on it, because obviously every time they feed there it fizzes, so I'll know if they're there, and I can bide my time and see what happens. But yeah, that's the situation. First thing Sunday morning. More than happy. I've had a fish under my belt now, so I'm happy. I'll get my head down and start progressing. I guess you'll either see me when we've got another fish or something more exciting's happening. There's the parting shot right there. Okay, so it's Sunday evening. Thought I'd better give you an update, just keep you updated on what's gone on for today. I've not fished all day. After I caught that 34 common, I left the other rods in for a couple of hours and then reeled them in, and when I had a chat with Matt about how to progress for the week, I wasn't happy with the way I was putting my rods across to that far bank. I just don't think I was getting it quite where I wanted. You know, it's deceiving as you go across there. You think you're in a certain place, and then lo and behold, you're nowhere near where you thought you were. So basically I've spent all day getting my rods absolutely perfect. I wanted to make sure that my wraps were exactly what I thought they were. So well, I won't bother explaining how we went about it, but it was a lot of effort, put it that way. And now all my rods are exactly how I wanted them, and I'm glad I did, because, well, one of my rods was a whole wrap out from where I thought it was, from where it should have been. So I was at 20 wraps, 20 1/4 wraps, and it was actually 19 1/4 where I wanted it to be. So I've redone all my rods. I'm 100% happy going to bed tonight, literally. I couldn't have done anything any better, so you can't beat that, can you, go in bed like that. So again, don't really know what's going on with bite time yet, but obviously early morning was productive today, so I will, you know, be going to bed hoping for a take in the morning, if not tonight. But yeah, gorgeous evening. Did a few laps of the lake today, baited up a few margin spots here and there, etc. But climbed a few trees, and some of the fish that I saw resting up in the branches of the trees were just insane. One of the mirrors, well, it's bigger than anything I've ever seen, put it that way, and I think if it was at 60 it was a very, very big 50. And I must have seen at least, well, at least half a dozen 40s minimum and a load of 30s. We actually had some taken off the top today, so that's a first for me in France, never seen that before. So this lake's definitely a bit special. I baited up a spot in about, it looks like about 2.5, 3 foot of water. I walked back past it less than an hour later and there was a fish tails up, so that is definitely, you know, going to be something that I'll pursue later on in the week. But for now I just want to test this and try and get in some sort of routine with my spots, try and figure out what's going on with bites. But yeah, totally confident tonight, you know. Hopefully effort equals success and all that. I've definitely put the effort in today. I fell down a slope that was probably 15, 20 foot, landed in the water with my shoes on, my phone in my pocket. But like I say, all my spots are absolutely perfect, so we'll see if that makes any difference in the morning. But for now I'm just going to have a cold beer and enjoy the sunset, I reckon. So yeah, quiet night. I was disappointed. I really thought I might have got one in the night. Seems like they're just not feeding through the night at the minute anyway, at least. But just go through my rods again. I got one. Let's just get a bit closer. I've got one in a cove around there. That's in around 5 foot of water. That one did me the 34 common. And as you go left, there's a dead tree just there, and there's a cove there. I've got one in there. That did me the first bite on the first night that snapped me hook off. I think, I've been thinking about that, it's been rattling in my brain. I think it was me. I think when I tied the IQ onto the hair, I didn't double wrap on the way back. So I think when I struck, it chafed. I think you know what I'm saying, it chafed and snapped off. I can't see any other reason why it went. So there's that spot. Then spot number 3 is just, there's spot number 2. Spot number 3 is just the other side of the snag tree. That's one of the ones that I got sorted last night. It's a real tricky spot, but after going around there and climbing a few trees, I saw some very big fish hiding amongst them trees. And then I've got another spot that I can bounce between, and that's all the way over here. There's another, no, not there. There's another snag tree in the water again. That's holding a lot of fish at the minute. And just to the side of there, I've got the wrap, so I'm ready for when I want to use it. And that's another tree full of fish. So they're the 4 spots I'm fishing to at the minute. I've been tricking a little bit of bait just down this close margin. There's a few fish show every now and then there, but I've not seen any fizzing as yet. But yeah, that's the story so far. But what was the time? Got to, I think it was about, let me check actually. Let's see. I don't want to be telling you the wrong times here. So, yeah, 6:45 roughly, maybe a little bit earlier. Had a take on spot number 3 on the other side of the dead tree. Got on it straight away, hit it, and immediately clamped the clutch and just started walking back to pull it away from the snags, and it worked perfectly. The fish came out, and after that it was just a nice fight. I mean, the margins are really deep here, so it was just plodding around in close, but in there's the prize. I've not weighed it yet, I'm just waiting for Matt to come round, but I would guess it's a mid-40, maybe a little less, but looks like a stunning mirror, 2-tone colouring. So next time you see us, we'll be having that up for the camera. Tight lines. Okay, so this is that fish. 6:45 I think this one came. I just weighed it, me and Matt. Stunner, 44 pound. Real character this one, real old fish. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm pretty sure it's usually a lot bigger because it's got a huge frame, but it's got no belly at all. I'm not complaining though, I'm not complaining at all. Without further ado, let's try and lift this brute up. It's a bit lively.
She's a flapper. Okay. Nice, mate.
Monster. Proper monster. What a fish. Etang Meunier. What a lake. Yeah?
Yeah, mate.
One more?
Down a bit. Just took half your chin out. That's it. Like that. Nice.
Okay. Wicked, mate. Nah. Look how thick it is across the back.
Monster. Wow. You ain't got the cover on, have you?
No.
Ready.
Get in. Happy days. Let's get a mat one and then we'll both be happy.
Well done, mate.
Etang Meunier.
Etang Meunier.
Okay, so it's Monday afternoon. Not had any more action since that fish this morning, but I've got a lot of fizzing going on now. On naturals though, here, there and everywhere, but it shows we're on the feed, so I'm definitely optimistic. The weather conditions are perfect. Overcast, warm, no wind, but it feels absolutely right. It's banging. I can't believe I've not had another take, if I'm honest. I thought I'd take the time now just to go over a bit about the lake, because I know coming up to this holiday I couldn't get any information from anywhere, and it was absolutely doing me head in not being able to prepare the way that I wanted to prepare. So that's part of the reason why I'm making this video, is to hopefully anyone out there who's coming to the lake for the first time, they'll watch it, and despite my annoying voice they might learn something before they come. So okay, there's a lot more gravel and sandy areas than I ever thought there would be, that's for a start. I expected it to be a mainly silt lake, and for the most part the deep areas are, but anywhere, see my little stick here, anywhere along them margins, all the way along to, well, if you're fishing this peg as far left as anyone would ever go, there's like a big cove there. That's the furthest I've gone and had a feel around, because I didn't want to disturb Matt in the other swim further down. All along there is absolutely gorgeous, clean sand slash gravel. Very small gravel, but gravel nonetheless, but real clean sandy areas, and it varies in depth all the way along from, you know, I've had 5.5 foot there, coming around to that snag tree it's about 4 foot, 4.5. I guess it just depends how far away from the bank you want to go, but around here you're looking more like 6s and 8s. Again, all clean, all perfect for a rig. Now the snags and the trees in general are a lot, well, they're a lot snaggier than I ever predicted they would be. They really come out into the water, so anyone who wants to fish across that far side needs to be on the rods big time. I mean, I've not lost any fish due to the snags yet. I did lose a fish on the first night, but like I said, I'm sure that was just me tying the rig wrong with the snap off. I'm going for the tactic of, as soon as I'm fishing locked up, well, my bait runners are giving a tiny bit of line, otherwise I'll lose my pod, but in general I'm locked up, and as soon as I'm hitting into the fish I'm walking back as far as I can, and then obviously winding down and walking back again, and that's done the trick so far. It's pulled them all away. Everyone, well, I've only had 2 fish, but it's worked wonders with both of them. Now open water, I've not, you know, I'm gonna, before I leave at the end of the week, I'll have a marker around and hopefully be able to tell you a bit more about all this open water. But I've heard from very reliable source that down this side, all along this dam wall, is pretty slow anyway, and you don't pick many fish up. And I've not personally seen any fizzing or any signs of fish pretty much from, if you drew a line across the lake there, all of this water, I've not seen any signs of fish whatsoever. But over this way I have seen fizzes and shows. So, you know, make of it what you will, you can do what you want, but I've dropped a lead out only 3 times so far, and basically all the open water I've found is silt, just clean soft silt. I don't think it's smelly, my baits weren't coming back too bad. I've only popped the marker out once and I've found depths from 10 to 9, around that sort of depth. I know it goes deeper, so I will have a play, but that's where I'm at so far. What else do I know? Well, yeah, baits, poisson chats. Now, I wasn't given any warning at all, but this place is absolutely full of them. Now, I've not come across any big ones yet, but that's not saying they're in here, but there's shoals of them that they look like you've never seen anything like it. Just shoals of tiny poisson chats of about 2 inches to 3 inches long. Now, my baits are coming in molested, but they've not been taken, and I've still had bait left. Even though they've been nibbled, I have still always had bait left every time I've reeled in, apart from once where I'm guessing it was a slightly larger one, must have hooked itself, but I'm fishing heavy lead, so I didn't know, and when I reeled in, my whole rig was tangled like an eel had been on it, so that was definitely a catfish. So I've brought nothing but fish meals with me, so that is proving difficult. My advice to anyone else would be, obviously, try and stay away from fish meals, and maybe bring, you know, your cells, your milk protein baits, your bird food baits. They're still on them, don't get me wrong. I was testing some baits in the margins, watching them, and they're eating all my particles, so it's not like that stops them, but you just want to try and attract them as little as possible. So definitely be aware that poisson chats are in here, and they're in here in numbers, and obviously that's something I wasn't made aware of. Other than that, that's about it for now. Gorgeous lake, as I've said 1,000 times, and definitely some huge fish. I've been out in the trees and looked out, and some of these fish are, well, if I said they're impressive would be an understatement. And the biggest one I've seen was well over 50, well over. It was sitting next to a few 40s, and they were very small in comparison to it. I've got no idea what the biggest fish in the lake is. I mean, on the website it says it's 60s, but when we got here, the bailiff told us he thought it was high 50s. I've read through this year's catch reports, and no one's mentioned a 60 in any of them, so it's not to say it's not in here, but either way, the fish are stunning. Yeah, hopefully sooner rather than later I will be back on with a fish on the bank, but until then, tight lines. Okay, so it's Tuesday morning, it's about 7:30, just setting the scene. Gorgeous morning. I think it's going to be a hot day today, so we'll see what happens. I might go stalking later this afternoon. Quiet night again, but just like clockwork this morning. Had a take, landed that, and just as I got it in the net, my other rod went. Managed to get them both in, so yeah, I'm just waiting for Matt. He's going to come up, help me do the photos, and then we'll slip them back. But yeah, happy chap here. A lot of fish feeding again on naturals this morning. But it all seems to stop at about, I don't know, 7 o'clock. So we'll see if that changes through the week, and maybe we can get a few pickups during the day. But for now, if I can keep plugging away, hopefully a biggie will come along sooner or later. Okay, so here's the first part of me brace. Weighed it, it's a 35 mirror. Gorgeous fish. I made up with this one, it fought like a demon. Yeah, so I had this one and I had another just as I netted it. So 10 seconds later I would have been in a world of mess, but yeah, this one went 35. Immaculate mirror. Etang Meunier, eh? Happy days. Right. let's get her back. Okay, so here's the second part of that brace, 5 minutes apart. This one's a 32 grasser, so a PB for me. It's been a bit of a beast, so I'm trying my best to hold it up. What a monster. 32. Yeah, quality. How's that looking, man? Yeah, so there it is. 32 grasser. Yeah, animal. Absolute animal, this one. Well made up. Okay, so I've not done a vlog today, but it's been a bit of a busy day. Stressful. You can see I've got fish. Me and Matt were chasing fish, bubbling all day. They weren't having any of it. They were feeding on naturals. So, cut a long story short, I got an opportunity just at the end of the day, just half hour before dark. The wind started pushing into the top corner. A few fish headed up there, so I had a nip round there with my 9-foot stalking rod. They were feeding on a spot I'd baited yesterday, but didn't put a rod on. Trying, weren't getting anywhere. It was just getting dark. I thought, you know what, I've had enough of this. Out of nowhere, my rod just skittles across the floor. I was fishing less than 2 foot from the edge, I kid you not. And I've had my biggest stalk carp to date. It's a 48 mirror and I'm fucking over the moon. Absolute unbelievable this is. It's a monster. Absolute monster. So I'm going to do my best. I'm shaking a bit because it was all a bit of a mad rush. But I'll do my best to lift her up. And it's definitely a she because she's got a belly. Look at the size of that monster from Etang Meunier.
Okay.
And in frame, mate. Yeah. So there it is, 48 pound.
Let's bring the head round a bit. That's it.
Etang Meunier. Stalked out the margin on a 9-foot rod. What a fish and what a session.
That's better. That's loads better. Bring his head round.
Yeah, just do some photos.
That's the way.
Okay, so it's Wednesday, probably around 10 o'clock. Set to be another scorcher. Blue skies, must be 32 degrees already. Well, quiet night last night. Temperature plummeted, I guess, because all the clouds left and yeah, empty sky. The temperature's really dropped, so I don't know if that's what turned the fish off, but absolutely nothing. No movement, no boshing, no runs, more importantly. So that's the first night since I've been here I've gone without a take, which is, yeah, disheartening at the best. Obviously I had that 48 last night, so don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but it was nice to just keep a fish ticking over every night. Gives you something to look forward to with these slow days, but we'll see what happens tonight. Yeah, so the 48, I didn't really get to tell you much about that last night. Epic, absolutely epic. So I'll tell you the story then. So you can't, where is it? The first rod that was in that tree there, there's a cove just there. Only tiny. I had the 34 common, the first fish from. That hadn't done me a run for 3 days. So I was just, beginning to think maybe my middle rod was cutting it off, stopping the fish from making it around there, as my middle rod's somewhere around there on a snag tree. So I thought maybe it was the middle rod cutting off the right. So I decided I was just going to keep baiting it up and keep an eye on it, but in general just leave that spot alone. So it gets to yesterday evening time, just getting the reds ready to put out for the night. and I see, oh no, sorry, I go around to bait up first before I cast the rods out onto the far margin. As I get round to the corner there, just as I go to throw an handful in, there's a big vortex. I think, oh damn it, I've just spooked a carp off the spot. So I proceed to throw a handful of pellet in, only to see the carp start vortexing instantly on the bait, so it never even swam off at all. Put the bait in, left it to it, put my bait in along my other markers, and came back into my swim and started to make some rigs, thinking I was going to drop a bait on the on that rod for the night now that I'd seen the action. About a half hour passed by and a big common showed out of the water, followed by 2 or 3 different shows from different fish, all within that small area there. So that was enough for me. I grabbed my 9-foot stalking rod and made my way around there, and I'll take you around there later. But as I got round, it's really dark and shaded round there. I lied down and, you know, did it all proper with a stalking kit, and then we must have seen 5 or 6 fish at least, all big fish, all feeding on a tiny spot there, coming out, circling, showing, going back under, feeding, coming out, and just doing the same process over and over again. So I was there for well over an hour, wondering, is my rig too obvious? Are they even feeding? Are they chasing? I wasn't sure what was going on. I just couldn't get a take. I didn't want to reel in because I knew it'd spook them, because there never were more than 30 seconds between vortexing. But yeah, it just got dark, literally. I was just thinking I can't stay here much longer, because I knew that if I hooked one I was going to have to go in to land it. There was no doubt in that. And it was just literally the last knockings of light, and I thought, I've got to reel in, and my rod just zipped off and started skating across the floor, and she was on. Yeah, that was it. So I went in, obviously I landed it, had a good, awesome fight on my 9-foot rod, 12-pound line, awesome fight. Got a wallow in at the net, and yeah, what a moment. 48-pound personal best mirror actually, and to catch it stalking was just, yeah, incredible. That's what this lake's all about, Etang Meunier, getting opportunities that you'd otherwise not get in France. So like I say, I'll take you around to the spot later. I've baited it up again, and hopefully this evening the same sort of principle applies. But yesterday a cool wind was blowing up into that corner, so to be fair, I think it might have been a one-off, so I made the most of it while I did. But you can live in hope. But for now, yeah, 48-pound personal best mirror, more than happy. I've left my rods in today. I've normally reeled them in by now because it just seems dead in the day, but I'm thinking they might be getting away with it early in the afternoon, you know, reeling in these rods. So I'm going to leave them in and not bother going down the bottom end of the lake today, and just see if I can get a bonus fish. So yeah, for now, tight lines. Okay, so it's Wednesday afternoon, still scorching, so I've put 3 zigs out, 2 on black, 1 on white, and yeah, see what happens with that. Varied them from 7-foot to 9-foot as well. So I was warning you about the Poisson chats, and a shoal of them was just swimming by, so I dipped the net in, and I told you there was a problem. That is Poisson chat. And some of them aren't small either. Huge frame, absolutely huge frame. Another Etang Meunier, old monster. What a fish. It's £47 this one. All my fish have come to small traps this week. There's not a very big head of fish in here anymore, and what is in here, they're all big, so small traps definitely seem to be working. I've been baiting a spot and fish have been on it, but I've not had one on it yet. Like take the bait, they're being a bit finicky on there, but all the fish so far have come to small traps. And yeah, it's doing the business for me this week. Watching for early morning bubblers is the key, and then fishing them the next evening, ready for the morning bite. That seems to be what's really producing the goods for me. Beast. Well, it's Friday. Obviously, I've not had a fish through the night. Had a run at 20 to 7 this morning on the same rod as usual on the far bank. So I left it right to the last minute, just as the sun was rising, and bloody hook pulled. So obviously I was gutted about that because we only got, you know, one day left. Yeah, so that's where we're out to now. So 11 o'clock, just packing away, just getting everything sorted so we can leave nice and early tomorrow with no stress. Scorching sun, absolutely blisteringly hot, and I've had my first daytime run out of absolutely nowhere on a new spot as well. Over there against the tree line where the fish have been showing every day. There it is, I've just landed it. It looks like a really nice maybe a £30 common. It's got a big belly on it, so I think it will go over 30. So absolutely chuffed to bits with that. Like I say, I mean, I've been reeling in at 12 every day, so there was only another hour before I was going to reel in. And it absolutely tore off out of nowhere. So what I'll do is I'll get it in a retainer. I'll get everything set up and get the mat all cool because it's obviously scorching hot, and then I'll get the fish out. Tight lines. Okay, so here we go then. Here's that fish. Friday morning, 11 o'clock, out of the blue. Away it went. It's the first daytime bite I've had like properly in the day, and I think I've been making a mistake all week. There's a lot of pass on chatting here. Now I've been leaving my rods in all morning, not wanting to disturb the areas and just thinking that the fish aren't feeding in the day. But today I went round with about 6 key boilies and put a kilo over every one of my spots, and within an hour this rod went off. So now what I'm thinking is all through the night, I mean it only takes 5 minutes and the catfish can clear out all the bait. I've been watching them in the margin, so I think that pretty much other than a few bigger pieces, all my bait's been gone all night, and the carp are coming along in the morning and finding very little food. And obviously I've been fishing all week, not really thinking about the fact that I might not be fishing over any bait. But yeah, I put a kilo over each rod, and this one absolutely lit off less than an hour later. Now since then I've had this in maintainer, I've gone around and put another kilo over each rod, and I'm now starting to get liners on 2 of my other rods. So it's a case of one of them where I should have really thought about this a long time ago. I mean, it's Friday now, we've got less than 24 hours to go, but better to be late than never, I suppose. But yeah, it's definitely worth thinking about. If the pass on chat, I mean, I should have been feeding little and often, maybe every couple of hours, just going over with half a key. But yeah, live and learn, live and learn. I know for next time. But what a beast. She is a fat lady, that's for sure. and this takes me up to 8 fish now, so really happy. It's a bit hot and I'm a bit hot, so let's get her back. Okay, so it's Saturday morning, first light. Had a fish about half hour ago, just waited till the light got a bit better. On a spot that I put 2 rods real close together, right near a snag, but you know, I was fishing locked up, so I knew it'd be alright. That's where I've had the most runs from this week, so I thought why not put 2 on it for the last night. So I had this one, and then just moments ago my other rod went. Sadly lost that one in a snag about halfway out, so I don't know what's there, must be a big part of a tree or something, but I went out in the boat and got over the top. Oh, calm down. There she is, £45. Etang Meunier on the last day. Absolutely gorgeous, this one. Perfect shape. A real brute of a fish. Perfect as well. Not a scale missing. Gorgeous. So I'll slip this one back and then start packing up, ready for the journey home. So it's been a good, you know, it's been tough, but it's been worth it. I've had some stunning fish. So let's get this one back. Okay, so that's it, the end of the last day. Packed up, ready to leave. Etang Meunier, it's been a tricky week. It's not been easy at all. It's been scorching hot for the last month and it's scorching hot today. So I finished the week with 11 takes and landed 8 of them. 440s and 430s, so you can't knock that. Highlights of the week: PB Grassy at 32 and that 48 mirror that I stalked out the margin. That'll live with me forever. That was epic. But to be fair, that last common I had at 45 was a stunner, absolute stunner. So yeah, well happy with the week. Tough fishing but rewarding. There's the parting shot. What a place. Etang Meunier. I'm sure I'll be back one day, but for now let's just leave it there. Tight lines.